Number 6, dress and act like where you want to be. Don't choose to swim upstream. Why is this important? This is a very example. I'm going to tell you a story. And so this is something we talked about applying in kind of, I'm going to apply it into my life. Well, no, let me just break it and I'll bring the example. Let me bring this back. If you want to be an executive, I highly probably don't recommend to put a tattoo on your neck. You're probably not going to get to executive status. I know we live in an environment today where you just think that you can do what you want and no one's going to judge you. It's not true. It's not true. I'm going to if I'm in Wall Street, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd never see high-level Wall Street bankers with tattoos on their neck. You're actually choosing to swim upstream. I don't see Wall Street bankers with long hair. I don't see Wall Street bankers in baggy clothes. I don't see Wall Street bankers looking like hip-hop rappers. It just doesn't work. You're not going to invest your money with that guy. It's very important to dress and how you want people to see you. I'm going to give you an example. I always give an example. I have 2 speeds. Either it's Canali and Armani or T-shirts and jeans. So what's my projection? My projection is this. When I need to come out, when you see me walk out in a Canali suit that's cut to me, all it tells you is success and power. I mean, I get told that every time. I just came back from DC. It just shows at the end of the day that there's no bullshit to it. But I'm not walking around telling people I'm wearing a Canali suit. It just shows. It's literally showing who you are. When you don't have to fake it, it just shows who you are, right? The example of a female. If you want to make a good example and you want to get a job and you don't want people to treat you a certain type of way, I'd probably not recommending for you to go out showing your bust. Like, it's just not going to do. If you walk up to a high-level job and you're there half naked, well, they're not going to take you seriously. It's just life. I don't make the fucking rules. I just got to know how to play with them. Harmonics Technologies. I have a very strict dress code. You're not walking in here wearing and it's not against Metallica or AC/DC or Ozzy Osbourne. You're not coming in here looking like a clown, because we work with a lot of schools, we work with a lot of federal clients, and so what I want to project is that we got our shit together. There's a reason why they have dress codes. And people are like, why do I want a dress code? Well, I'm going to tell you this. When you go to an Ivy League school, there's a dress code. When you're in the military, there's a dress code. When you're in special forces, there's a dress code. When you're an officer of the military, there's a dress code. When you're a Wall Street banker, there's a dress code. And what is it? It's a perception of where you want to be. You're showing people success. This is why there's name brands. There wouldn't be name brands if no one gave a shit. And what you're showing is, I know what's going on. It's what people used to think back in the early 2000s. If he drives a Mercedes, he's a professional. This is what we call branding. And so we have to know what the brand is. And even though your guys' generation today, and the younger generation, thinks they could do what they want and there's no consequences and I can act whatever it is, I promise you, someone is judging you. My philosophy is that people are looking. I want to say how it applies to me. I was about I was 25 years old when I launched Harmonics Technologies. And I had a mentor that I met. Her name was Anna Muller, one of the most predominant women New Mexico had ever seen. Appointed by President Nixon to run the 8A program in the United States, was literally behind a lot of people, congressional seats, and helping them get there. Just at one point, the leader of the Republican Party. I mean, I can just sit here and just lay out a huge resume. Anyways, I looked up to this woman. So I always remember this as I went to her office and I sat down and I'm wearing an earring. I'm actually wearing 2 earrings. I had a diamond hoop earring and a diamond stud. And we're sitting there and I'm talking about how I want to conduct business. And she says, do you want some tea? Anna was never asking you if you wanted tea. It was, you're going to drink tea with her. So Milo said, sure. And it was a ritual. You got up with her. She either go downstairs or yelled down to her assistant. You made tea. But the time that I'm sitting across the table, she's looking at my ear. And she's just looking at my ear. And I'm like, holy crap, this is kind of uncomfortable. And she's just kind of staring at my ear. And Anna used to have these deep, piercing, beautiful blue eyes. And so I'm looking, I'm thinking, here's this little 5'3" lady that is very powerful looking at my ear. And I was like, holy smokes. And I remember going home and telling myself, I take my earrings out and I put them away and said, this was a season and now I'm moving forward. I want to be an executive and I don't see any executives wearing earrings. And I just made that decision. The next meeting I had, she says, are we going to have tea? She looks at me and she's probably wondering, was he wearing earrings or did he take him out? But I never gave her the opportunity to talk about it because you couldn't tell. So she could have been like, maybe I saw something, I don't know. Or maybe she knew. It's just I'm talking in my head. So I chose at that moment that if I was going to be around one day meeting John McCain, one day meeting President Bush, that I had to portray myself, and everyone around her did not have earrings. Everyone around her didn't have tattoos on her neck. Everyone around her had a very clean haircut. Everyone around her spoke very well. And so I had to drop a lot of ways in my life because did I want to be cool or did I want to be successful? And that's how I applied it to my life. So I decided to go down the clean cut ways. My philosophy was, would grandma let me walk her dog? Would grandma trust me to walk her dog? Would the family next door trust me to babysit their kids? If I achieved that kind of image, then I knew that I made it. And so for me, I was targeting the moms, the grandmas, the decision makers to show, okay, this kid has a lot of respect. This kid is very well dressed. This young man is very well spoken. This young man does what he says. That is what I mean about do not choose to swim upstream. People talk about, oh, right, police officers, and oh, they're putting me in a hole, and this is what it is. I was like, no, this is a very simple thing. I've been stopped multiple times, and when I'm approached, I'm well spoken, I'm respectful. You don't look at me and think this guy is going to do something. You look at me and say, whoa, his license says veteran, he carries himself a certain type of way. It's all about the respect. And so what I'm talking about is very simple, guys. Dress and act like where you want to be. Now, if you want to project Thugville, and that's what you want, God love you, don't matter to me. If you want to project anything you want to project Harry Potter, and you think they're going to take you serious, doesn't matter to me. You want to project, I look like a fucking clown, doesn't matter to me. But I'm going to tell you, based on 22 years of experience and a lot more Christmases than probably some of the listeners here, is that, or even listeners that have more Christmases than me, they can attest that at the end of the day, people are going to judge you based on how you look. So just be the best version of yourself. It's very different than the opinion because you're helping someone form a negative opinion about you. So I do not swim upstream.